Another beautiful Monday evening is about to happen, basically, because we're back with racing action at the rFactor 2 GT Pro Series powered by VCO Esports. It's Nurburgring, as you probably have guessed from the B-roll in the background already. Once again, it's me, Rainier Butler, alongside is Demon Lee, Demon Smith. Lee, lots of racing happening once again.
Absolutely. You know, I've traveled far and wide since our last meeting, but it didn't stop me getting here to cover this action. I'm delighted to see it. We're back at the Nurburgring. It's going to be fantastic. We had some amazing races so far in the first half of this season. I'm really looking forward to the next 3 races.
Yeah, we're over it, basically here around the corner for me. So we're at the Nurburgring, beautiful track. Everyone knows it, not just for the Green Hell, but also for this track, the actual GP circuit that we're visiting now in the second half of our Season 2. So in round 4, 6 in total. That means if you want to score big and maybe become champion, then you better show that pace right now. Otherwise, you might be too late. It's the same as every single Monday here, 15 minutes of sprint racing and then 45 minutes of a main race, obviously with the top 10 being reversed. And qualification, that's currently underway already in the background. And qualification sets the grid for our sprint race. After Nurburgring, we actually head over to the US for Indianapolis and then return to Europe for the very last round, Spa-Francorchamps. In case you missed that, it was just released for rFactor 2, 20th of November. You might saw the trailer in the intro. So if you don't have that right now, better go to the Steam store, grab it, and have some fun on that iconic race track. But for now, we better concentrate on Nurburgring.
Yeah, the sad part for me today, Rene, is it said 0% precipitation chance. We had rain in Virginia. It was absolutely insanity. We saw some drivers like Juni Simicic really stepping it up when the rain came down. But it does look like it's going to be a dry session today. At the moment, obviously, we're riding with Palesny in one of the Ferraris. He's unfortunately a long way down. And as you can see, the target time set by Kevin Siggy so far in the BMW, looking fantastic at the front. We'll see whether the lights of, I haven't seen Yayovsky. Actually, he's down in 11th at the moment. That is quite off the pace, I would say, compared to what he's at. He's half a second adrift from Siggy's time. And he's looking go purple again. He's actually set it even faster. Kevin Siggy on fire.
I mean, let's be honest here, if Kevin Siggy is able to grab the pole position at Nürburgring, that would be the first non-Corvette pole position in Season 2, if I remember correctly. And I'm probably right, because let's be honest, the Corvettes showed great pace throughout the season so far. So if Kevin Siggy can bring that BMW into the first row, and even better on pole position, that will be a major achievement for the Team Redline driver. But session's not over yet. We still got 7 minutes to go. Risto Capit on his outlap once again, trying to get Ramon Croissant Esports further up the grid. They have second, they have third, they have fourth. So they can't really complain about that either before we get Jonas Raivio on a fifth for Sancho, another team that really shows incredible performance in 2020. I have to say that, kudos to them. They do amazing so far. Kuba Brzezinski on sixth, and then it's Joni Simicic on a seventh. So it works pretty well for everyone right now. Let's see where the first Ferrari is, though. There's Dennis Jordan on 8th. That's obviously not a Ferrari. Lorenzo Arisi, he's in 13th right now. That is another Corvette by the Waveframe Esports 1. They're doing well. Ferry Stanley way better in Season 2 than he had been in Season 1 on the AMG. We've got Jimmy Nisula. That's basically the car right behind Ferry Stanley right now. They're 14th and 15th. Then that should be the first Ferrari, right? That's Michael Sedlacek on 16th, right in front of the first Porsche on 17th.
Yeah, the field's starting to sort themselves out. Some very quick times, 148s at the moment. 5 drivers breaking the 148s. Jonas Raivio, as you mentioned, up in that 5th place. So Yayovsky was down in 11th, got himself up into the 3rd place now, as expected. The current points leader by quite some margin, I might add. Had a fantastic race over the last couple of weeks, especially in Portland, obviously winning the sprint race and the main race as well. Got himself I think it was a 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, in the main race in Virginia. Won the sprint race once again. Has been really on fire and has built himself up, I think, a 19-point lead over Yuri Kastorp, obviously one of his teammates, and Haniel Sabti, his other teammate. And Yuni Simicic is looking good, though. 381 for Yuni Simicic at the moment. 402 the leader. So there's a big points disparity, but you never know what could happen. One little nudge, of course, for Yovsky. He does still have that spoiler round, effectively, the Joker card that he can play. If he has a bad result, he can remove it. Oh, Sido going a little sideways there. Not what he wanted just coming into the the hot lap, but this is looking good for Risto Capit. He's gone purple. Are we going to see a potential movement on the front of the grid for Kevin Siggy? Risto Capit looking to set a hot lap.
It's like Cedar Via, he's a safe claim bowling professional, as he said on Discord today. He actually scored a strike in Virginia International Raceway when he hit both Butler Power Motorsport Porsche at the same time, going in the same corner. So he said that. It wasn't me saying that. So that's him. But what's also interesting to see, we see Kevin Rutting. We had them on the screen a bit earlier in his AAA Esports Corvette. He is alongside Nuno Pinto. They're currently in 23rd and 25th. So AAA Esports compared to Season 1, not as strong. Obviously losing a lot of drivers to Roman Grosjean Esports, a team that we see here with Risto Capit spinning, coming out of the Vidal chicane here at Nurburgring GP, one of the crucial sectors on the Nurburgring GP track. Unfortunately lost a bit of balance there. Same for Dennis Jordan. It's like, no, everyone goes off in that corner. I have to say, if Dennis Jordan could have kept it into drift, alongside the hotel, people in the hotel would have been very happy about that. It would be a great show for everyone.
Wild applause. Yeah, I mean, we've got another one in the 148 club. Yuni Simicic now in 5th place, so he's posted a fast time. Great to see he's still up there contesting it. Obviously did very well in Virginia. Ferry Stanley on your screen also had a pretty good race. I think he finished 8th place, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in certainly in the top 10 over in Virginia. Polesny also posted a decent result over there, but Sido, okay, so Sido, we just saw, obviously he's on the outlap, we just saw him go for a spin a moment ago, as many of them have, it seems, on that final corner. Everybody pushing just a little bit harder, and you can see it's just a little wild going through the chicane there. Let's see if he can hold it together to try and just get the outlap sorted out at the moment. That's where everybody's been spinning off, just trying to put too much on it, and away he goes on his hot lap.
And not that much time left anymore, 2:30, so that's enough for roughly 2 laps if you make it up quick enough. I see Dovaya tries again into turn 1 here. That is a crazy hairpin. You drop down into that apex there. There basically 2 lines. You can run around the outside, you get a bit more grip. You might be able to carry more speed into the Mercedes arena, or you try to be as close as possible to that curb, drop down there, and then use the shorter way, basically. That's another one here. You can run very, very wide if you are not really watching for your line. And then you go all the way down, basically far ahead. That's Moonbach-Schleife down there and down to Dunlop Corner. So basically, if they wave now, I might be able to see that out of the window if I would have eyes that let me look that far instead of only 20 centimeters.
Got to go across a couple of fields, I think, to get there. But,
and maybe houses.
And maybe houses in the way.
And the stand, like
the stand might be a problem.
Yeah,
there's a few things. But Erhan Yayovsky, he's certainly not having problems. Now set himself a 48.7. So getting that pole position that we've seen Erhan Yayovsky getting all season long, smashing it as he goes. Does look like Sidovai is just a little off pace here. He's only got a yellow time. Let's see whether his Sector 2's any better. Doesn't look like it's going so well for him. Kevin Siggy does try and go a little quicker, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's not out on the circuit right now, so I guess he's happy with 2nd place. Little slidey slide, Risto Capit. Unfortunately, I don't think he quite captured that one. It's just going to continue round.
I mean, it looks great. That's a good thing. It's a bit of entertainment, but he definitely wants to avoid that during the actual race. Yeah, Kevin Siggy not out on track. Pretty surprised that he's not trying in his last lap to maybe beat Erhan Yayovsky, who is still on track and current pole position. Sidovaya down to 22nd. So I'm quickly checking the things. Basically, Roman Grosjean Esports all the way through, besides Kevin Siggy there in the top 5. Top 5 are closed up by Johnny Simicic, though, so that's the quickest burst esports driver right now. And then it's Sancho, Marla Racing Team with Jakub Krasinski. Williams Esports only on 9th right now with Nikodem Wisniewski. They won't be happy about that. Haniel Sapti So just in 10th, and then it's Dennis Jordan. I have to say, Dennis Jordan is one of these drivers I'm just waiting for to once have that big race of his life in GT Pro Series, where he basically wins it. I think he has the potential, just missing that edge so far.
Everybody's seemingly hitting a really good first sector, just not quite pulling it together in the second sector at the moment. It is going to be a purple, though, so he goes quicker. 148.6, just shaving a couple of hundredths off his time. I think he was 148.7, wasn't he? It's 148.71, so just slightly faster for Yayovsky there. As you mentioned, Al Sabti not out, not going to do another lap. He actually drops outside the top 10, Halni Al Sabti, who has been a front runner for us throughout the GT Pro Series in a couple of races. So it does look like it's going to be Kevin Siggy holding that second position. Unless anything changes, no. Alex Siebel not able to better his time. He gets into 14th place. It is going to be Ferry Stanley coming over. Hot around the corner. See what he can do. You can see when green in the second sector. It's not going to be a pole position, but it will be a decent time. 149.3 will post him in a decent position. Simic is actually still out on track, so there's a possibility he could go quicker. He's the only one really out there. Ferry Stanley after going over the line.
And it's same for Wojciech Polesny in the Varga Sim Racing Ferrari 488. So let's see if he can post a quicker time. 20 seconds so far. Right in front of him is Robin Pansa and then Payo Path. So it's also very close, 0.1 of a second basically. So he could do it, coming around the last corner once again in front of the Durant Hotel, and then onto the straight for 149.6 once again. So that's not that much quicker. And with that, he stays behind Robin Pansa on 22nd.
Yeah, Simic spun it on the final corner. So we have confirmation in Erhan Yayovsky on pole position, as he has been so many times. Kevin Siggy in the BMW alongside, and you can see them Roman Grosjean esports cars locking out that second row of the grid. Risto Kappa and Yuri Kastorp, who were challenging each other in Virginia, I might add, and somehow slightly connecting and going wrong. Simic got a great race, third place for him in the Virginia race, and Yunus Ravio in the Zansho in sixth. Brzezinski for Marla Racing Team in seventh, with Lorenzo Arisi getting himself a really nice result in there in the way Freema Esports, obviously coming in from the Challenger Series last season as well. So really nice performance from him, separating the Williams drivers, with Nikodem Wisniewski in ninth and Jan van der Heide of the Zansho in 10th. What a cracking front 10.
It definitely looks like a big fight is about to happen in the sprint race, that's for sure. Quite disappointed that Kevin Siggy didn't manage to actually get that pole. I was really looking forward to having a BMW lead the race here, at least the sprint race.
I think that's Arise's best qualifying so far this season. He's really stepping up. We obviously saw him in the top 10 challenging previously, but yeah, what a really nice setup here.
Yeah, that's obviously Kevin Siggy. Team Redline this season with only one driver. Last season they still had Max Verstappen and also Rudy van Buren in the Team Redline cars. If I'm not mistaken, there should also have been Kevin. Wasn't there another Van Doren, basically?
Just to be clear, you are allowed to go over the pit blend line.
I think Kevin Siggy is a bit struggling, obviously, with how fast the Corvettes are right now.
I think
in terms of pace and what he's able to provide with that BMW is absolutely impressive. So let's say in Season 3, if he gets another car and he gets that car that's actually capable of winning a championship, I would put my money on Kevin Siggy. I think he's in a great place. Talking about putting your money somewhere, that is this split of the prize money per round on your left. So 250 euros for being the round winner, and then 3,000 if you become the Pro Series champion, just like last season as well. But we added 25 euros for the fastest lap in both events. Also, they get additional Fanatec gear, which is provided by one of our series sponsor, which is Fanatec. So thanks for helping us out there, guys. Really appreciate it. And they can, I guess that Erhan Yayovsky probably has an entire sim racing center by now. I mean, if we look at Season 1, if we look at Season 2, I think he will soon open his own one.
I think, all his friends are tapping him up right now. Anything that can come your way. We all have one of those friends that has like all the tech gear. He's that guy right now with all the sim racing gear, wheels for days.
That's true. Once again, we go through the grid. So we'll see Burst alongside Sancho 5 and 6, and then Marla Racing Team on Waveframe Esports 7 and 8. Nikita Wisniewski and Jan van der Heijden 9th and 10th. Daniel Sapti and then Dennis Jordan for top 12 so far. That's the quickest Evolution Motorsports driver at the grid. Alex Siebel, his teammate on 14th, so not far down the grid. Arne Schoenfliet on 13th. Peter Björlak was very, very unlucky in the last races. So let's see if he can do way better than last time.
So obviously the rolling start, as we always have here in the GT Pro Series, is going to be set up with Yayovsky setting the pace for everyone, and Kevin Siggy going to be very much on the defensive side with the two Remagrosian Esports drivers also on his tail with Risto Capet and Yuri Kastop. He's going to be on the defensive, but Kevin Siggy is no new person. He's used to being on the defensive. He's done it so often in the BMW. He can make it very wide and certainly look to make some cracking overtakes. We'll see how it works out for him. And don't forget Yuni Simicic and Yunus Ravio sitting there in 5th and 6th. They're going to be looking to try and see an opening, make some moves, and see whether they can carve their way into possibly a podium position on the sprint race. It is going to be a 15-minute starter race and then moving into the 45-minute main race. Afterwards, the top 10 grid will turn themselves around, flip it over. 10th place will start in pole position for the main race. But let's get the sprint race underway, Rene.
Yeah, well, we have a quick look once again at the points of interest here at the Nurburgring GP. Obviously, the run down to the hairpin and then through Michael Schumacher is up to the left and right combination, which is a great position once again to get alongside, actually make a move. And then up here, which is a second, basically a backstretch up to the Vidal chicane. It is a slight uphill run. You basically go downhill before that right kink, then uphill again, really tough braking zone into the chicane, and then through there to the last corner, which is a 90-degree right-hander. You can throw away a race here, as we saw in the qualification, but you can also win a lot of spots here if you really on point, especially on that braking zone. So it will be very interesting to see who's gonna make any move there. While Erhan Yagowski comes around the last corner to open round 4 of the GT Pro Series powered by VCO Esports, and we're underway. Seems like Kevin Siggy has already to defend the inside against the next Romanshore Esports Corvette. He gets past before we're even down to turn 1. That's very harsh for him. Now in the sandwich, basically between both of the cars, Yunus Ravio gets involved on the inside. Small bumps there, but nothing big happened yet. Seems like there's no spin in the background. Really good for everyone coming through turn 1.
Massive team advantage. These guys all in comms together, so Yayovsky would tell and give the cue exactly when he's going to go, which will give a massive advantage to the likes of Yuri Kastorp and Risto Capit, who's actually just nudged to the side there. Nice little move from Kevin Siggy. I think he's managed to muscle his way through back into 3rd place. He will be on the outside, but it looks like he's going to be able to carry the speed around. It's going to be very tight, but he's managed to make it work. A fantastic overtake from Kevin Siggy.
Yeah, definitely recovering from what happened down into turn 1 for him, where he lost the position. Now back in 3rd, but he has Capit and Simicic in his rearview mirror. That's definitely not an easy task to keep those guys away. And this is Jakub Brzezinski on the left, while we sit on the Burst Esports car of who's that? That's Michi Hoyer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because up the hill that's Siebel in the Evolution Motorsport Corvette, coming down now to bit and RTL curve basically. So it's left-hander. You can cut the curve a bit more there if you feel adventurous basically, and then you want to be in the slipstream down here to have a shot at overtaking right in front of the chicane. But it seems like the gap is a bit too far already for Brzezinski to really get on that way from Esports car.
Yeah, looking like a fairly clean start. I didn't see too many incidents. I'm just having a quick pan down, and nobody's actually out. So it's looking like it was a pretty decent start. Looks like Daniel Canistracci's been slightly nudged, so I didn't see what happened to him down further down the field. But back on the racing action, as you mentioned, it was a very clean start. We do have Siggy still holding that 3rd position with Risto Capit on his back. Oh, little challenge on the Marla there. Actually, further, where is he? Brzezinski was.
That's Brzezinski in 7th right now with Peter Björlak right.
He was in 7th.
He
was in 7th. He's in 14th right now.
What? Oh wow, that's a hard drop.
So something did happen back there. Yeah, something definitely happened on that first lap. Further down, this is Brzezinski obviously challenging out with the Sancho, and there you go. There's the spin that comes in. That's what forces him out, just nudges him wide and sends him tumbling down on that second lap when so many cars are packed together.
Really lucky in how he got back on the track there. Didn't lost that much time. I mean, if you see how close everyone is, as we also saw Roman Grosjean esports car and Williams next to each other going into that. I have to say, so far, everyone is still in the race, which is great to see. Martin Durland, probably the mistake got overtaken because he's now last. And speaking of Shara, moved up a spot to 29th. So that worked for him down there. But look at this, like Sancho versus the Burst esports car. That is Jonas Raivio against Simoncic. Pretty tough battle once again. We know that sprint race can get a bit crazy on the very last minutes, but that's nothing compared to the main race when we see the reversed order in the top 10. Once again through the chicane. Nice and clean so far.
Yeah, down in 11th place, Jan van der Heide getting a little hairy, trying to put the pressure on Dennis Jordan, sort of around his back end through the chicane there. Wasn't quite able to work out for him though, so he's had to back off just a little bit. Arnie Schoenflitz just on his tail as well. You can see still all very tightly packed together, looking to get a little squirrely and make that move. He's been sensing it. Meanwhile on your screens, Peter Briliak desperately trying to get involved, but not going to work out. Let's have a look at the replay.
That's Daniel Canistracci that we have centered there. It's Payopef right in front of him, and that was just no contact at all. Yeah, he lost the rear there on the Corvette, probably dirty air, and then spun out to the left. Also lost the tire, and even though that's weight reduction, it doesn't really make you any quicker.
No, you kind of lacking when you lose that wheel. Max Siebel under pressure. Who is this? Nuno Pinto looking to get it the inside of Borja Milan. It's going to be on the outside here. He shouldn't be able to make this one work. Borja should have the drive, and he realizes he's going to have to back out of that one. Ooh, careful he doesn't lose out. I think that's Michi Hoyer behind him as well, so careful he doesn't lose a position to that.
Yeah, Borja Milan for 1 ACO. They had better races in Season 1, but struggling here in Season 2. Nuno Pinto, who switched from, what did he race last season? Wasn't he on a McLaren, I think? Back then for Butler Power Motorsport, now AAA in 25th. There is a burst car going wide. Is that Michi Hoyer? Can't see it right now. Well, we lost Rotting, which is the teammate of Nuno Pinto. Take a look at the replay to what happened with Kevin Rotting down into the chicane. Oh, that was a bit hot coming in there. I mean, we saw that the rear lost contact immediately. It's not really getting a lot of grip there. And then while still being on the brakes, turning in, obviously got all the weight to the front. And then the car starts slipping in the back, and off he goes. Payopef lost 1 position so far, down to 21st now, defending against Nico Barkley into turn 1. Down turn 1, tries to cover up the inside. Nico Barkley, quick tap on the rear of that Porsche, but not enough there to get it unstable and then maybe making a move around it. Nope. So he's still in 22nd, but it seems like the Corvette currently a lot quicker than the Porsche.
Great to see Lorenzo Risi doing well. 7th place for him at the moment. The former Challenger driver. You guys out there want to get involved in this, and some people will be saying, how do I race in this? It's not a case of just turn up and race. These guys are the best of the best in the world that take part in the rFactor 2. Some of them obviously in the Pro Series. You can get here by going via the Challenger Series. That's your route in. Keep your eyes peeled for next season of the Challenger Series, and maybe you could join these guys racing for the big money. But at the moment, Jimmy Nisula hot on the heels of that Ferrari. Doesn't look like he's going to make it work though. The big Callaway Corvettes dominant throughout. It's not as strong as it used to be.
It seems like Hani Asepti currently the driver with most won positions, because he started in 12, moved up to 9, so within the top 10, which gives him second starting position in the main race. We'll still go on board with Jimmy Nisula on 19th, looking at Michel Sedlacek, and then Ferris Stanley. That's the red Corvette right in front of the Varga Sim Racing Ferrari, coming up to the chicane once again. And we saw with the dirty air how tricky it is to actually get that turning in point, still having enough downforce on the rear. Look at that, Nisula really winning a lot of meters there onto Sedlacek. might be able to make a move down into turn 1. That's the same for Simičić further up the grid. He's not even looking up the inside, no, so we'll stay behind coming into Mercedes Arena. Same for Jimmy Nisula. Not close enough to the Ferrari yet to really get alongside on the break.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get himself through. Talking about Sabti, like you say, he did get past Dennis Jordan, so missed the overtake for that. And now he's on the back of Nikodem Wisniewski, still keeping the pressure on. That's where the pack is. If you want to talk about the front leader, well, Yayovski's got himself a nice 2-second cushion to Yuri Kastorp, who himself is sitting on a fairly nice cushion to Kevin Siggy. So the front three locked out at the moment. Kevin Siggy in that big BMW trying to lead the charge. Nisula still trying to get past that Ferrari. Not quite able to work him out there, but doesn't seem to work out in the end. Further afield, Yuni Simičić has Ravio closing the gap on him at the moment. So Simičić having to be a little bit defensive. Obviously stole the 5th position off Yunus Ravio in the qualifying in the final few laps. It does seem that Ravio's finally got that car working the way he wants it. He's starting to put the pressure on.
Yeah, we know how quick Yunus Ravio can be, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get onto the back of Johnny Simičić and try to get into the fight there, maybe moving up into the top 5 position. Oh, also won't be easy. Simičić is one of the best drivers around, that's for sure. Once again, that is Nico Barkley, but now Cito Vaya from Sancho gets involved. So it is one ACO Sancho, then another one ACO car. That's Barkley's teammate, Borja Milan. Oh, and that was a rotating Corvette right in front of everyone. Sedlacek also spinning. Someone else went wide. That was Jimmy Nisula, who couldn't keep the Corvette on the track. And now we got a full trade running down into turn 1 with Payopev all of a sudden right behind Wojciech Bolesny. Trying her out the outside. That will be very hard with a Porsche. And not all but Nico Barkley looking up the inside. That's the typical GT Pro Series problem. You open the door once to make a move. If you can't get around it, then someone else might take the spot from you. But what happened there? That was crazy with everyone being in the way. But it seems like this group made it through. That is Nuno Pinto now getting involved in the AAA Corvette there. And the Porsche leading this hunting group of Corvettes.
Yeah, it was Ferry Stanley that I saw going backwards actually had a penalty to serve as well. So whether he was trying to get in the pits at the time, I don't know. But either way, we saw a lot of people spinning throughout the qualifying trying to make that work out. Didn't work out. Jimmy Nisula goes out alongside him. Ferry Stanley didn't go out actually. So I guess Nisula was also spinning in there. So I think he was running up in 11th place or something like that, Nisula. So it was in a pretty decent spot. But as you say, it does make things a little looser. Obviously everybody trying to swerve out the way of those spinning cars, definitely switching things up. Al Sabti further afield, Dennis Jordan right in his back. He had taken over him at one point. Obviously Wisniewski and Lorenzo Risi all starting to bunch up a little. There's this gap forming between 6th and 7th at the moment. Lorenzo Risi in 7th place. This is the view from Nisula, so we're seeing exactly how it all happened.
Very interesting there that Nisula wasn't able to avoid contact with Ferry Stanley, who basically just lost the rear on his own. I'm pretty sure that wasn't dirty air because he wasn't that close. It seems like everyone's coming a bit hot into that fast chicane. I mean, it basically dares you to try, right? If you're on a normal speed, then that's the same I feel in the real car. You come in there, you brake, and you always feel too slow. Every time you go through there, you think that could have been quicker. And it seems like they're at this edge right now where sometimes they're just way too hot into that corner, then losing the rear. While we see Nico Barkley now trying to attack Payopev again. That's 18th and 19th. But he also has to watch his rearview mirror. Cito Vaya right behind him. So it's not an easy group with everyone being involved. There's absolutely nothing between those cars. Cito Vaya looking up the inside Mercedes Arena, but there might be a chance for a crossover maneuver. That wasn't enough, though. But I see him now being very, very close to Nico Barkley. So, once again, see it on a different camera. He was showing himself on the inside of Barkley, but not enough to make that move. But what I wanted to say with that chicane is, like, we saw Ferry Stanley spinning, and then for whatever reason, Jimmy Nisula couldn't really decide going around left or right. We see that here. He's losing the rear. Nisula not sure where to go. Because he probably saw the Ferrari from Michael Sedlacek in front of him, and then spinning, obviously, due to the grass on the outside. I'm not sure if he wanted to avoid that and rather thought, oh, I'll tap the front of that Corvette rather than spinning on the back. It kind of worked for him. I mean, he's still in the race, still going strong.
There's a queue forming here, Rene. There's a queue forming. It's behind the BMW. Kevin Siggy leading the charge with Risto Capit on his heels. Simic's just had a look at Capit, and as is always the case, once you go wide and have a look, the man behind you is looking to make the move. So Yunus Ravio is also having a little peek in the back door. Arisi's just sat watching this happen as this little pack of four look to make the moves. Kevin Siggy going defensive. Risto Capit around the outside, it seems, just trying to see if he can work it in there, but that BMW being very wide opens the position for Simic. Right on the backside of him, will be on the outside coming in. He wants to go for the undercut on Risto Capit. He's not having any of it. They're all going to slow down. Small nudge there, but they all hold ground.
Yeah, that will be a very interesting fight, even though it's the last second basically of this race. 45 seconds still on the clock. Now everyone wants to make the move. That is, speaking of Shara, on 22nd, and Robin Ponsat trying to go through on the inside in Mercedes Arena. That will definitely work for him. But really good. Look at all that traction it gets out of that turn. Hard for Shara to defend with that Porsche, losing another spot.
Still positions station. They're all close to one another. And with these little overtake attempts coming out from Risto Capit onto Siggy, he's having to be defensive, and that's starting to slow everybody down. They're all starting to back up. There was a little pack of four, and you can see just how close Lorenzo Arisi is getting on them. Ejan Jajovski and Yuri Kastorp, they are clear. 2-second gap from Ejan Jajovski, and Kastorp, well, he is well adrift of Siggy as well. It's all happening behind Kevin Siggy right now. A queue is forming. Siggy actually gained himself a bit of ground on Capit, with Capit failing to make that maneuver stick, and it's actually forced everybody else to get a little closer. Arisi, Wisniewski, Al Sabti, Dennis Jordan, all starting to come into this one. Speaking of Dennis Jordan, he's got Jon van der Heide all over his backside right now.
But it's Jajovski scoring a win here in the sprint race, round 4 Nurburgring GP. So once again, maximum points for the Romain Grosjean driver. I also have to say, we lost Nico Barclay. Something happened to him there, so he is listed as DNF, so didn't manage to fight against Payopav. Something happened there, so the car is out. And we have Hani Al-Sabti being in 9th, Dennis Jordan being in 10th, so Dennis Jordan will start on pole position in the main race with Hani Al-Sabti right next to him. Nikodem Wisniewski started in 9th, finishing 8th. Won't be super happy about that. I'm pretty sure he was looking for way more. Yunus Ravio, one of the first drivers that actually lost a position. He dropped from 5th to 6th, while Johnny Simic basically moved from 6th to 5th. Let's see if we get the replay. That is Nico Barclay. Payopav in front of him. That's Nuno Pinto rear-ending the 1ACO Corvette completely. There's another burst car that, I don't know, decided for a slight change in truck layout, maybe. I'm pretty sure that people at Nurburgring thought about that way already. Not really interested in that layout. But yeah, it wasn't down to Nico Barclay there. That was clearly on Nuno Pinto. The final standings of the sprint race right in front of you. Jajovski, Kastorp, and we see them next to each other quite a lot. Kevin Siggy, the quickest BMW in 3rd. Really good performance from him once again, holding his ground. Risto Capit, Johnny Simic, the top 5, and then Yunus Ravio, Lorenzo Arisi, Nikodem Wisniewski, Hani Al-Sabti, and Dennis Jordan to fulfill all the top 10 spots. So we actually got a lot of different teams there. We got Romain Grosjean Esports, Team Redline, Burst, Sancho, Wayframe, and then also Williams and Evolution Motorsport. I like that. I like many teams getting involved. Jan van der Heide missing the pole position for the main race on 11th. That's very unfortunate for him. Arne Schönfleet, Ajira Racing in 12th. Jakub Brzezinski then for the Mahler Racing team in 13th. Peter Bielak for Williams Esports right behind on 14th. Michi Hoyer, the champion of the GT Challenge, the feeder series, the one that you actually have to dominate to make it into the Pro Series. He's in 15th, so doing very well in his first Pro season. Alex Siebel in 16th. Wojciech Polesny, the quickest Ferrari, in 17th. Payopav, 18th after the spin of Ferris Stanley. Nuno Pinto, 19th, but there might be a penalty, let's be honest here. The rear-ending Nico Barclay. Porsche Milan, the only remaining 1ACO car, in 20th. Then Martin Durland for John Alesi Esports in 21st, with Robin Panzer, which was probably the burst car we saw going wide on the replay regarding Nico Bartley and Nuno Pinto. Zbigniew Szara in 23rd, and then Michael Sedlacek after his spin on the last turn, I think 2 laps before the finish, in 24th, Cito Vaya in 25th, and then Ferry Stanley, the last car that finished in 26th. So, yeah, we lost 4 cars throughout the sprint race. See how that goes in the main race when we go more than double the distance with 45 minutes.
Yeah, so the flip will be interesting. See whether Mr. Yayovsky can go for it again. Obviously, Alex Siebel and Dennis Jordan put himself up at a decent time in this one. Siebel just a little adrift. He certainly put in a great show. Really nice performance for them in Sebring. It was right near the start of the season. Started out in first and second, actually, in the main race, and held on to it for a large portion of the race as well. So 2 drivers putting in some decent shows, always there in the top 10 there and about. At the moment, though, it's the Roman Grosjean boys that are locking out that front 2 once again. The Zancho guys are trying their best to interfere and get up there. But at the moment, you can see the prize money. First place, €3,000. Right now, Erhan Yayovsky has his eye on the prize and is so far unstoppable, picking himself up his, I believe, 3rd sprint race consecutively. Yes, 3 sprint races, Portland, Virginia, and now the Nurburgring. Can he go back-to-back like he did in Portland?
Will be the second time, as obviously it didn't happen before in the series. I'm not sure if we had that in season 1, someone winning back-to-back, but definitely possible.
I think I check. We have that in there somewhere. I will.
Well, of course we have that somewhere. It's not like there isn't any statistics available. I mean, we know that Aiden Millward was involved season 1. He is an absolutely lover of numbers. So I would be surprised if there isn't, you know, like a... Probably he also written down all the lap times. Wouldn't be surprised about that one. Obviously, if you want to listen to Aiden Millward and Lewis McGlade, then next Monday, there's the GT Challenge Series powered by VCO Esports. So that's the feeder series with the best drivers that want to push into this Pro Series. It's a very interesting fight for the championship there. Season 1 was amazing. So make sure that you watch that as well with Lewis and Aiden providing the commentary there. So we got the 50 minutes out of the way. We're heading over to 45 minutes. No qualification. We explained that in the beginning, and we'll explain that every single time to make sure that you guys know the format. So there will be no qualification. Instead, we get the grid based on the standings of the sprint race, but we reverse the top 10. But that's how it is. Nurburgring, Indianapolis, and Spa-Francorchamps. So we're nearly there at the end of this second season. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to Spa, which probably is... No, that's 21st of December. So there is the rFactor 2 3-hour event on the 4th of December. By the way, signups for that are still open. Make sure that you get involved. The 3-hour main race, and there are 2 support races with the Taters and the Porsche Cup. So that will be the first big showing from Studio 397 of that new track of Spa-Francorchamps. So I'll make sure that you sign up your team there, get involved. 2 drivers for those 3 hours. There's some big names actually on the starting grid. It's definitely worth putting in that effort and being on that. So Dennis Jordan, he will lead our main race for Evolution Motorsport. Hani El-Sabti in second, Nikolai Wisniewski, and then Lorenzo Ariza.
Yeah, locking out, obviously, the front 2. Then Yunus Ravio in 5th place. Yunus Simičić just behind him in 6th place alongside Risto Capit in 7th. And Sigi in 8th place, locking Risto Capit out all the race in the sprint race. And then, of course, the Team Roman Grosjean front 2. Yuri Kastorp and Yayovsky will be starting out in 9th and 10th. And then we continue where they finish. Jan van der Heide at 11th place. Brzezinski 13th. Peter Breliak in the Williams in 14th. 2 Williams drivers effectively looking good. Michi Hoyer in 15th place. Great performance from him. Alex Siebel behind him. And then Polesny in the Ferrari with Peopev in the Butler Powell Motorsport Porsche just alongside him. Nuno Pinto down in 19th. And then Borja Milan in 20th.
And Martin Durland for John Lazy Esports in 21. Robin Panzer in 22nd. And then the second Porsche of Butler Power Motorsport was Shara on 25th. And Michael Setlacek 24th. Cedar Vaya only 25th this time. Very unfortunate. I think he can go a lot quicker than that. And we'll see in the main race. Ferris Stanley, who was the last finishing car. Unfortunately, Kevin Rotting will find himself in 29th after DNF being in the sprint race. I wonder which car we're missing, though. We're down to 29. Who are we missing? I see that Jimmy Nisula is still in the pits. So he is not on the grid, at least not on my timing. And what happened there?
Well, they obviously did have a DNF, so not able to make the grid for the main race. If you're just joining us, it is a 45-minute race, the main race. The front 10 were flipped around from the sprint race, which is a 15-minute journey. That Yayovsky came out on top with his teammate Yuri Kastor alongside him. And you can see the timer. It is a rolling start. When things get underway, it will be Dennis Jordan of Evolution Motorsport leading the charge, but he will have Hani Al-Sabti alongside him, who will be looking to put in a better performance. Certainly has been up there and thereabouts in the front runners in the past, but doesn't seem to have been able to put it together in the opening sprint race in the Nurburgring. We'll see whether he can keep hold of that position.
All right, they're nearly there. Yeah, last sector, basically last stretch for them. Now before coming up to the chicane, and then Dennis Jordan. I think he opened races in season 1. I remember that, so he was lucky to have the 10th position in the previous season as well.
The big difference here, Rene, is that we won't have those Roman Grosjean front 3 locking it out to give themselves that huge advantage over poor Kevin Siggy. He's going to be looking to try and get one up, of course. Kevin Siggy with Risto Capet alongside him, and he's going to be on the back side of Yunus, Ravio, and Simicic, who themselves have been racing each other for the last 3 races, I feel.
By the way, we're missing Canistracci. That's the driver that's currently not on the server. That's why we're down to 29th. But it is what it is, so it will be 29th then. Jimmy Nisula, he's now out of the pit, so he's trying to actually close that gap to the front runner. Well, Dennis Jordan is actually coming around the last corner, and he's opening the race right in front.
Oh,
when he touches the hotel. Great start from him. Look at that. Hani Al-Sabti has to lock into behind that immediately. No chance for him to really get involved with Dennis Jordan into turn 1. Wisniewski, great start, but very early on the brakes, and Hani Al-Sabti back in second.
Simicic just getting himself pulled out, trying to get out of that drag and get himself in a great position. It did get him up into 4th place. Lorenzo Arisi, though, in 5th alongside him right now, and you can see just with Simicic's bumper just squeezing into vision there, as Arisi also has Yunus Ravio right on his backside. Arisi, at the moment, will get himself up into 4th place. A fantastic start for the young driver to try and work his way through the pack, but Dennis Jordan holding on to the start. Yayovsky, meanwhile, gets himself up into 9th place. Yuri Kastor down to 11th. Had a poor start there. Arnie Schunflet separating the 2 Roman Grosjeans.
Yeah, Arnie Schunflet really doing well right now. He's right behind Yayovsky. Kevin Siggy in 7th. That's where he started, so was able to hold on to his position. Jonas Raivia right in front of him. Not easy to overcome, but Kevin Siggy's really pushing that BMW each and every race in this series. Alex Siebel, that's teammate of Dennis Jordan. So the 1st and 16th right now.
Someone just went off.
That was Yuri Kastor.
It was Kastor.
Yeah, he's last now. He just threw his car around. Basically, no, he wasn't last. Spigner Shara was, but he just came around. No, that isn't Shara. Payo Paf isn't 27, so something happened there because he started 17th. Now all listed as 27, so the Porsche driver unlucky here in the main race start. And it's the same for Yuri Kastor, who's now in 28th, with Jimmy Nisula basically being a lap back because he obviously wasn't part of the starting procedure. Hani Al-Sabti now right behind Dennis Jordan down the start-finish stretch and then into the turn 1 hairpin. Can he actually make a move there? Doesn't look like it for now.
Yeah, you can see Al Sabti trying to look up the inside, not quite going to work out for him. A smallish contact, just a love tap, I feel, on Dennis Jordan, just to give him that motivation to get around the corner a little quicker, harder on the brakes. Orisi holding on to that 4th place as well. You just see Jakub Brzezinski down in 12th place on your screen there, running up the backside, well, not literally up the backside of Jan van der Heide, who's currently sitting in 11th. It is Kevin Siggy, who has been passed by Risto Capit, who's now up into 7th place. Kevin Siggy down to 8th, has the 2 Roman Grosjeans postering him at the moment in 7th and 9th.
Yeah, it won't be easy, but we see that Arne Schoenfeld is really applying some pressure onto Arne Jajowski, our championship leader, in 9th and 10th. So it's very interesting to see that Arne is super quick right now at the start of the main race, but he also has Jan van der Heide behind him. He's probably still not happy with being 11th in the sprint race and missing out on pole position. Let's see the replay. That is Yuri Kastrup coming around Michael Schumacher as right here. We saw Kevin Siggy already being a bit wobbly, but it was the rear of the Corvette of Yuri Kastrup that lost grip there with dirty air once again, and then that is Payo Paf, who also somehow landed all the way back, far away from everyone else.
Arne Schoenfeld putting a bit of pressure onto Jajowski down in 10th place at the moment, trying to see if he can get past the current reigning champion. It's safe to say, obviously, won himself a fantastic season 1 with Kevin Siggy challenging him all the way. Kevin Siggy in 8th place right now. Hani Asabti still behind Dennis Jordan in the lead at the moment. Dennis Jordan, the Evolution Motorsport, looking great at the start. Nikitin Wisniewski also with Lorenzo Orisi putting the pressure on his backside at the moment in 3rd and 4th, with Simičić watching it all play out. He, by the way, got past once again Yunus Ravio. This is once again Yunus Ravio's worst nightmare in the Zand show. He had to sit behind Simičić all the way in the sprint race, and he's got to do it again in the main race, it seems.
Yeah, not an easy day for him. Well, we're on board with Borja Milan chasing down Wojciech Plesny, 16th and 17th. That's Alex Siebel on 15th now, so he should have won one position. I think he was 16th before. I'll quickly check that. He started 16th. Yeah, now he's in 15th. Johnny Simičić still now inside the top 5. He started also on 5th, so nothing happened there. I was quite confused real quickly there. Yunus Ravio in 6th, Risto Capit 7th, and then Kevin Siggy in 8th. So we lost one position so far. Let's see, that's Payopev down into turn 1, trying up the inside of Alex Siebel, who's all the way around, who's dropping really hard, then basically losing the rear. The question was he tapped, or was it just him dropping down there? It is a huge gap coming down that. If you average it there in real life, you always feel super bad for your car. It sounds like you basically destroyed it there, and that is Ravio going wide.
Yeah, going very wide, trying to get on the back of Simičić. You can see Risto Capit actually looking around the outside of him. Might actually have the drive here because of that gravel that he was on, but it does look like Ravio is going to hold station, and that's actually backed up Capit a little bit there with Siggy now on him. Jajowski had got a little gap between Siggy and Jajowski, but with him back in the pack up, it's forced a couple of drivers to look at situation. Maybe they can make a dive for it on the final straight here.
Really strong group fighting here, but Kevin Siggy is just so strong in that BMW. He's even trying to look up the inside there of Risto Capit, but no chance. Maybe if Capit runs a bit wide, no. Also has to be aware of the next Roman Grosjean car right behind him. Not easy at all to keep everyone in check. So that is the situation with Payopev we saw before. Was it him? Yeah, that was him. Basically cutting the inside apex too much on turn 1, losing the rear of the Porsche, and then off you go. So no enemy contact at all.
Just slamming the car a little too hard. Kevin Siggy on your screens putting the pressure onto the back of Risto Capit, trying desperately to get across as they all file down around the corner. Looking fantastic at the moment. Erhan Jajowski, championship leader, trying desperately to get forward as we look from the bonnet, I believe, of Arne Schoenfeld, as he's also trying to chase on the backside of them. It does look like he's actually going to put a bit of work in on Jajowski. Jajowski's got to be careful here. He's trying to put the moves on Siggy, but Arne Schoenfeld is very much looking to make the move.
Yeah, we know that Arne Schoenfeld is capable of doing so. We saw him season 1 in the Porsche, which wasn't a car to win there, and still he was able to be inside the top 10, really putting in amazing moves, especially in Imola. We remember that. It was a great race. Unfortunately, Imola not in season 2. We might see him returning for season 3, who knows? But he's once again showing that he can run within inside the top 10. And see if he can overcome Yayovsky. Maybe if Yayovsky tries to make that move onto Kevin Siggy, although he lost a lot of ground there coming around last corner. Hani Al-Sabti trying on the outside now of Dennis Jordan, who still is in the lead. So he basically survived 10 minutes.
Yayovsky going through, just a little contact on Siggy, gives up the position. Siggy will retake it. Now Schoenfeld unfortunately not able to benefit from that one. So just a small contact. But of course, he's keep position station. Schoenfeld right on the heels, though, of Yayovsky now, and that's backing up all the way down to 18th. They're starting to stack up in this pack. Sabti in the lead at the moment. Behind Dennis Jordan in the lead. Still sitting up behind him. You can see Siggy. He's got that space now. You can tell that Yayovsky is the one being on the defensive duties. Further down the field looking at, I can see the Ferrari with a Zancho right up behind him. Is that Borja Milan as well? I think in 17th maybe. With Nuno Pinto up behind him at the moment. Simičić and Ravio still up in 5th and 6th. Ravio still holding station behind him. Lorenzo Risi, I'm pretty sure this is the best performance so far in the GT Pro Series, up in 4th position. He had a fantastic qualifying that worked out so well for him. Managing to keep his position up in the top 4. Not quite able to break into podium position though. Nikitin Wisniewski is the man that he is trying to chase down in 3rd position. Al-Sabti keeping that pressure on the front two. We'll keep our eyes on that with Dennis Jordan, but you can see Arne Schoenfeld once again putting pressure on the back of Erhan Yayovsky, still down in 9th place. It's not been a simple deal. Hani Al-Sabti just having a quick look at the inside, not going to work out. Dennis Jordan holding position. They've got themselves a bit of a gap actually forming in the front 4. It's Simičić now that everybody's starting to stack behind.
Yeah, it gets quite busy for everyone right now. It's like we see them bunching up once again, just like the start. And Simičić leading that group, basically. What's more interesting to me is that Yayovsky didn't find a way around Kevin Siggy yet in his Corvette. So the BMW driver for Redline still doing a great job there defending. And with that, giving a chance to Schoenfeld and also to who's behind him there. That is Jan van der Heide, the next Sancho car, to close that gap and getting involved in this fight.
Yeah, Jan van der Heide is going to be kicking himself. We saw him obviously at the end of the sprint race trying to get that 10th position. Would have got past Dennis Jordan. Was so close, and maybe another lap could have done it, but we just didn't have another lap left in the sprint race, which puts Dennis Jordan obviously on that pole position. He is currently in the lead now, with Hani Al-Sabti still putting a lot of pressure on him. We'll give him that. Hani Al-Sabti's been all over the back of Dennis Jordan throughout this race, really trying to work those cars to try and get past, and that's opening things up. Yeni Simičić with getting a space between him and Jonas Ravio, actually. And then what Ravio did, maybe just ran a little wide a moment ago, but there's a couple of half a second gap formed there that was not there a moment ago. So maybe just a small driver error.
Oh, into chicane now. Look at Hani Al-Sabti forcing his Corvette alongside Dennis Jordan, both holding on to their cars. Dennis Jordan still up the inside here for the last corner. Might be the last leading lap for Evolution Motorsport, but no, Dennis Jordan, he stays up front.
Well, has he? That's the question just about, but you can see how Sabti wants to have another look. But look at Nikitin Wisniewski. He's coming alongside, and that's actually forcing Al-Sabti unable to look out. He's trying to go on the outside. I don't believe that should work on Dennis Jordan. He should be able to have it, but Wisniewski may well get through here. Al-Sabti should be able to lock him out on the inside, but that's now bunched the whole pack. Everybody's got right on the back of these.
Wow, what a fight for the lead right now with Nikitin Wisniewski getting involved. Also, Lorenzo Risi now a lot closer. I mean, we can see that Dennis Jordan is not up to that pace. Like, his fastest lap time is a 1:53.4, while Al-Sabti is a 1:53.1, and then Nikitin Wisniewski even down to 1:52. No, that's the last lap, by the way, 1:52.1. with fastest lap being half a second off, actually. So Dennis Jordan with having a bit more freedom up the front, not super slow, but it seems like everyone is catching up to him. I was just wrong with the lap times here on the indicator. But still, I mean, he will get that pressure. He will feel pressure from Hani El-Sabti, but Hani needs to be aware now of Nikitin Wisniewski. We know he's good for aggressive run into corners, and he's willing to take the risk to make something happen. So it'll be interesting to see when it actually happens again, Hani El-Sabti.
BMW and Kevin Seege just getting a little slidey through the chicane there. It's beautiful to look at. But Yayovsky unable to benefit. He has managed to get back on the rear. And speaking of, look at that. All filing through. Just see how close they are currently running. That's around about the top 12, 13, 14th we're already looking at as we hit down towards Borja Milan in 17th, and then the Ferrari of Martin Drullen coming through. Everybody very much close. One mistake will put you way back. And speaking of mistakes, El-Sabti and Dennis Jordan are at it again. Dennis Jordan on the inside will hold the line, but you can see it's starting to bring the whole pack closer and closer.
And the question is, how long can Dennis Jordan actually defend that position for Evolution Motorsport? It's still 30 minutes, so 15 minutes he survived so far, but doing that for another half an hour, that will not be easy at all, especially not against El-Sabti and Wisniewski. I mean, even Simoncic is close to getting involved in this group. We see that there's a huge train right behind Dennis Jordan. So that will not be easy 30 minutes, and I'm pretty sure he's sweating in his rig already.
Absolutely. I mean, every time I drive in these sort of games, I'm just sweating non-stop. So how these guys can keep their focus with somebody on your backside for 45 minutes straight, the best drivers in the world, it really does impress me sometimes. Kevin Siggy just keeping Yayovsky in the position station. Yayovsky will not want a 9th place, I can tell you that. With 30 minutes to go, he's going to want to be further up the field here to get a better position. Of course, these challenging rivals in the championship effectively are his teammates, Hani El-Sabti being one of those drivers. So if it stays where it is, El-Sabti is going to be right on the back once again of Yayovsky in championship points.
It brings a twist to it, basically. We're still 2 rounds to come on. We're in round 4.
El-Sabti's going for it. He's through.
Oh, they're touching. Dennis Jordan is off. Hani El-Sabti is off, but Dennis Jordan will return in the lead, and it seems like Nikitin Wisniewski, he will be the lucky one if he can make that move happening now on El-Sabti here. Look at how close they are. They're going 3 wide down, start-finish stretch into turn 1, but Dennis Jordan is losing out speed. Look at that. Risi gets involved now, down into turn 1, when all of a sudden Dennis Jordan finds himself on 4th position.
Risi trying to sneak on through. He's up into 3rd position. What a crazy section of action. Looks like Dennis Jordan's going to retain 3rd place as Arisi will go wide here, so it looks like he should be back into 3rd position. But look how close everybody's got. Yunus Ravio getting involved in this. Simoncic starting to have a look as well. Everybody wanted to try to get past. We knew it was going to happen sooner or later. There was a small piece of contact as Dennis Jordan wanted to turn back in. El-Sabti kept the racing line, it looked like, and that has caused absolute mayhem at the front. Wisniewski, though, the man that benefits, running in 3rd place, now in 1st.
Yeah, that was a big moment there, and Dennis Jordan now, he has to find his place once again in the grid, because now Yunus Ravio's right behind him. We're riding on board with Yunus right now. So all of a sudden, like, you're defending the lead, and with just one single move, which was basically initiated by Hani El-Sabti, everything changed.
And don't forget, Arisi also lost position. He got himself up into 3rd. He's now down into 5th. So Yunus Ravio sneaking through in that Zancho up into 4th place. He's going to be absolutely delighted with how that played out. But El-Sabti, you know, he was the one that made it all work. He was the one that got alongside Dennis Jordan. But he's still in that 2nd place. Nikitin Wisniewski, he was challenging for the title all throughout last season. He absolutely can hold this position.
Yeah, I love how the Williams Esports driver is all of a sudden in the lead. I'm pretty sure not even him knew about that. And Hani El-Sabti will be raging. I mean, he was working so hard to get that lead off the hands of Dennis Jordan. And now, instead of having an Evolution Motorsport rear with blue in front of him, he has the Williams Esports blue in front of him. So, yeah, that will go on for at least another 27 minutes.
Yayovsky having a little look. Oh, it's getting very tight behind them. Schunfleck getting a little nudge from Jan van der Heide there. And I think Jakub Brzezinski also having a look. Yayovsky having to be on the defensive side there. He was looking at making a move on Kevin Siggy, but everybody is bunched up. Because of this action at the front, it's brought them all so much closer. And we've still got 27 minutes of racing action, Rene.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most of the top 10 runners right now never had a single free lap, basically, where they could run their ideal line, where they could run the pace that they can do in sprint race or qualification, because everyone had cars in front and the rear. You always had to defend going into the corner. Talking about defending, that's probably what Nikodem Wisniewski has on his mind right now, because he's not really building any gap from Hani El-Sabti. And comparing the previous laps before the lead change, it seems like there's no chance for Wisniewski to actually get away from the Romain Grosjean esports driver.
Let's have a look at how this all played out. You can see that's obviously the two. Dennis Jordan connection obviously sent offside, and Wisniewski just going through. He took the lot. He took the kitchen sink as he snuck on through into first place, had the drive. Dennis Jordan obviously being as defensive as he could, but what a great move from him.
One of the best moments we had so far in the Pro Series here in Season 2, I would say. Even though how it was created might have been a bit sketchy. I'm not sure with that move Hani El-Sabti did on Dennis Jordan, but I'm not a race director, nor did I saw a replay of that yet, so don't want to judge. But what happened afterwards, that was good entertainment for sure.
Absolutely, and now we're back to, well, Kevin Siggy being defensive to Yayovsky. It looks like Arne Schunfleck having to be pretty defensive to Jan van der Heide as well as they come down. Yayovsky looking to make the move. Kevin Siggy gone on the inside. Hello, bit of teamwork here. Risto Capri trying to back him up, I think, the BMW there, so Yayovsky could get past, but it didn't work out. Siggy read into that one, shuts the door on Yayovsky and says no.
I love that. Kevin Siggy still with all that overview. I mean, he's a driver with a lot of experience, brings her to the table here, and you can see it. Like, he's really good managing his defensive line on that BMW. I mean, you could also say he has a lot of practice now with running the BMW against the Corvettes, which means you're always on the defensive line, but he's just doing that so well. By the way, Ferris Stanley currently side by side with Payo Paf. That's 26 and 27 from obviously way further down the grid. But I saw all that on a different camera that we have it here now going into Moonbar Schleife. So left-hander that will give the upper hand to Ferris Stanley once again. But I think this fight is not done yet. Kevin Rotting is currently behind them, but he's far off, and Jimmy Nusula still down a lap after his delayed start.
Kevin Siggy continuing to defend against Yayovsky. Time's against him right now, trying to get that move. This was the move here. Look at the connection. So you can see how Sabti's holding the line. He couldn't really turn in much more, and Dennis Jordan trying to turn in. And, well, we will leave it to the stewards. I'm not too sure. It just looked like a racing incident to me, and Nikodem Wisniewski benefited perfectly from that one. Still ahead of El-Sabti as well. Dennis Jordan down in third position with Eunice Rabiot holding fourth. Arisi in fifth, Simic in sixth. Risto Capit separating Kevin Siggy at the moment. And it seems that they're trying to make this move work. You're obviously still unable to get past that BMW though.
I'm really wondering with that move there. We saw them tapping the rear quarter panel, and it's kind of hard to rotate your car if there's an object right next to you, right? So you can't swing that rear around. Oh, so I wonder if El-Sabti even had a chance, but Kevin Siggy against Yayovsky once again. The Corvette alongside big BMW M6 there. Once again covering up the inside lines, and no chance for Yayovsky to really right that curve there and trying to get on the inside of the BMW, maybe coming out of this one using as much track as possible without getting a cut detected. But once again, he has to slot in behind the team red line.
Kevin Siggy's used to this. He's done it all season. He has been the defensive king in my eyes in that BMW. Had a very good sprint race. Yayovsky, of course, you know, the winner of the sprint race, is looking to further his points and get further up the field. But at the moment, he has been, in the last 20 minutes, unable to pass this BMW. Continues to try lap after lap after lap, but it doesn't seem to be working for him.
Yeah, at one point, someone either loses patience or someone's losing They might while defending. It'll be interesting to see what happens first. I can see Nikodem Wisniewski still being in the lead in front of Hani El-Sabti, so Hani not... Is that... Lead changes don't work for him, I got a feeling today. It's like he's always working on that. Never really happens. Once again, Yayovsky, look how close he is now to the BMW. You could basically shove him through that chicane. Could be one car now under braking. Now look how late Kevin Siggy is on brakes. I mean, Yayovsky was really trying, but still the BMW with the upper hand.
He was certainly considering licking a stamp there and sending it, but it's not quite going to work out for him. So great driving between the two. El-Sabti looking to make a move on Nikodem Wisniewski on the front, and I think he's going to make it work this time. He should be able to brute force his way through, and El-Sabti will take the lead. That's great news for his championship. 35 points, remember, for first place. Oh, Jon van der Heide having a little look at Arnie Schoenfeld as well. Further down the field, Kevin Siggy still holding station with Yayovsky, but the lead position change, that's the big one. El-Sabti chasing the championship, and if it stays where it is, Yayovsky in 9th place, it is going to close that gap massively.
Replay with Yuri Kastov in 23rd. Not sure what happened there. Let me quickly check the board where he is now. By the way, Payopath also dropped down to 28th. That's Kevin Rotting. Oh, that's Yuri Kastov having his nose up the inside. Ferry Stanley tapping in there. And then Ferry Stanley and Payopath went through, but Payo is down a lot. It's also rolling around the Porsche right now in Mercedes Arena. So not quite sure what happened after the contact there when he was alongside Ferry Stanley.
Well, Jan van der Heide tried to put the moves on Arnie Schoenfeld, and that's obviously didn't work out for him. Now that's put Jakub Brzezinski right on his backside, so he's in defensive move at the moment as once again some errors from Arnie Schoenfeld. Starting to feel the pressure, it seems, from the back of him, but look how close they are. Van der Heide goes wide, and look at Brzezinski trying to sneak around the outside. Is that really going to work? I'll be very surprised. He's certainly going to try. He's got through, and Jan van der Heide goes down to 12th. A great move from Brzezinski.
Yeah, that looked really good for the Mahler Racing driver. We're slotting behind Arne Schoenfeld, who is next up. And Arne obviously doesn't have any slipstream there working for him, so that might be a chance get around while Dennis Jordan has to defend against Jonas Raivio. It's around the outside way, longer route, so that won't work out this time.
Peter Briliak also trying to squeeze on through Michi Hoyer there. Didn't work out. That forces him wide, and Siebel looking to try and benefit from it. So a lot of position changes further down the field at the moment. Up the front, it stays as is. El-Sabti now holding that lead. Looks like he's got himself a nice half-second lead over Nikodem Wisniewski as well. Dennis Jordan and Raivio in 3rd and 4th. Let's have a little look. This is Peo Pev further down the field in the Butler Pal. Oh no, is he coming in? Is it all over?
That might be, I mean, him pulling into the pits, something that you normally don't do on a 45-minute race, so Payopath very unlucky. Sprint race looked a bit better for him. Main race, nothing really comes together. Speaking of Shara, his teammate on 20th right now, so not a good race for the Porsches once again. Still fighting against Michel Sedlacek in 21st, and then Yuri Kastov on 22nd. So, Hani El-Sabti now in the lead, in front of Nikodem Wisniewski, then Dennis Jordan and Jonas Raivio. Still didn't found a way around Dennis Jordan, actually. I was expecting him to be on 3rd by now, but he isn't.
Yeah, Sabti's starting to put in some quicker laps now. He's got that front position stretching slowly further and further ahead of Nikodem Wisniewski. Dennis Jordan, the one that's being defensive at the moment with Jonas Raivio in the Zancho, trying to put the pressure on the Evolution Motorsport. Lorenzo Ricci still in 5th place. This will be his best finish, if I'm not mistaken, in the season so far. Fantastic racing from him, holding Yuni Simicic at bay down in 6th position. Risto Capit still with Kevin Siggy sandwiched between him and Yayovsky, and it's going to stay that way for this corner at least.
Just confirming it was a drive-through penalty actually for Payopath, so he's not coming in for damage. Oh, talking about damage, Brzezinski nearly putting his nose into the rear bumper of Arne Schoenfeld in front of him. Those running for 10th there. Ferry Stanley against Robin Ponsa back in 25th and 26th. Nothing happening there so far. Currently going through the grid. Haniel Sapti spreading the lead in front of Nikita Wisniewski. Dennis Jordan with a bit of air around him, but not that much actually. As Jonas Raivio and Lorenzo Risi are still within under half a second basically. We see them here going up to Michael Schumacher. No way to do that side by side, or at least he shouldn't try.
Chance for Dennis Jordan holding up Jonas Raivio here. Raivio looking to try and work it. Not going to happen at the moment. Yuri Kastel down in 22nd after that spin early on. Jonas Raivio on the left-hand side of your screen was putting the pressure on Dennis Jordan, who was obviously leading for a large portion of the race, but still not able to make it work, it looks like. Yeah, just a little peak there. Don't think that's going to stick as he goes through. Oh, Yuri sending a Ferrari spinning there. What was that went off? I think it was Mikael Sedlacek. Yes, it was. Off he goes. And
Risto Capit just tapped Kevin Siggy, and they're now side by side. Siggy giving him a nudge back on the straight. And Nurburgring also getting a ball. Might get squeezed. We see Nurburgring flashing his lights angrily at Capit and Siggy there. But it seems like Kevin Siggy will be able to hold on to 8th position, at least for now.
Oh, Siggy just brute forcing his way back through, and why not? You know, they're trying to make this work. And in fairness, Siggy's been closing the gap. Oh, but this time Yayovsky's through. That's just absolutely stolen his dinner. Kevin Siggy, is he going to be able to fight for this? We'll be side by side. We'll have the drive as well, but it's going to be on the outside in the chicane. I'm not sure if he can hold the position here. He's going to try as they go around the outside once again. Siggy not giving this up and will hold position on Yuri, flashing his lights fiercely, but he's still not getting past Kevin Siggy.
Yeah, Kevin Siggy once again really showing why he's that good in defending. And Yayovsky around the outside through a Dunlop corner. Well, he will stay in front, and that gets Jakub Brzezinski a lot closer. We see that Mahler Racing car in the background with Arno Schönflip behind, so they might be able to close that gap if Kevin Siggy has to defend any further. But we see it. I mean, when we talk about Kevin Siggy, he is a fast driver. He's very good. He can run within the top 5, even in the BMW. It just shows in the current balance of performance how strong the Corvettes are. Obviously, also got all the good drivers on the Corvette, but if Kevin Siggy is always on the defensive with that BMW, then yeah, it is the Corvette being very, very strong, and at least he can show off his skill there.
I mean, in fairness, they were fighting for the championship last season. Apologies if my mic is redlining, by the way. I did have to rush and set this up. I am currently sitting in Poland for the month, so I've been sent to a very different location. I'm on a very remote, and it's very echoey in here, but I can see once again Siggy being defensive on Yayovsky. This time it looks like he should be able to hold it, but Yayovsky trying around the outside. Oh no, Siggy's gone sideways. Just a little skiddy, and that will put Yayovsky through at last.
Yeah, finally he made it through there. Kevin Siggy really putting up a fight. I doubt that there's a chance for the BMW to come back while they nearly go alongside through the left-hander. But after that, the Corvette should be able to actually spread that lead and then get away from Kevin Siggy and Tim Redline.
Fantastic stuff. Let's look down the field as things start to hot up in the final 13 minutes of this race. Remember, the main race, 45 minutes they were. All switched around. We'll see what Yayovsky can do with this now that he's got past Kevin Siggy. And don't forget, keep your eye on Jakub Brzezinski, by the way, who has passed Arne Schönflett back there. So Brzezinski making that work out for him. We saw his move on Jan van der Heide. So Brzezinski making waves at the moment here in the Nurburgring as he gets into the top 10.
A really great move, that's for sure. What we saw Shara defending. We get a replay on Cedo Via. That is Sedlacek, I think. And is that Yuri Kastel? Because that's the situation you saw, right? That was Yuri Kastel getting rid of one of the 488 Ferraris. Quite sure what race director will say about that. And then also tapping into the Sancho car, leaning onto him again into the chicane. So that's some rough racing right there.
Brzezinski just looking at the inside of Kevin Siggy there in the chicane where Siggy's had to be defensive once again. Siggy's BMW does look like it's wanting to go a little bit more sideways right now. Meanwhile, you can see Yuri Kastup right on the back of Shara in the Butler Powell Porsche, trying to do what he can. Brzezinski hot on the heels on your screen there, but don't forget about Arne Schoenfleth and Jan van der Heide, both right behind. Brzezinski looking to try take some meat off this BMW as Yuri Kastorp makes the move work, and he moves up into 20th.
Yeah, if that is enough, was a slight chance for the Porsche to cross over, but didn't work out in the end. Cito Vaya now a lot closer to Shara, so that's probably his next fight. Won't be an easy one. Oh, by the way, Jonas Raivio, he's around Dennis Jordan now, but he's bunching up everyone behind him. So Lorenzo Reis is super close now. Johnny Simic also in that pack, and then a bit further down, that's Risto Capit, the first Roman Grosjean car you see there. So this is a hot fighting group right now for the last remaining 11.5 minutes.
Yeah, Sancho up into third place on the podium. Fantastic stuff for him, finally getting past Dennis Jordan. We saw him obviously doing it around about 10-15 minutes ago when it was all happening at the front. This time it looks like he's made the move stick, and now Lorenzo Arisi also looking to see if he can improve his position and regain that fourth place that he lost when it all shook up the front. But as you mentioned, it has managed to bunch them up. So Dennis Jordan, Arisi, Simic all being drawn into this battle. And then don't forget about Risto Capit and Ernie Erhan Yuyovsky. Ernie, I'm giving him a new nickname. They call him Ernie. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. Look it up on the internet, folks. Al Sabti in the lead.
Not right now, obviously, because you should stay with us here for the GT Pro Series powered by VCO. I wonder if Dennis Jordan has a chance here to fight with Jonas Raivio. Jonas, such a strong driver. I think, no, he wasn't in the Evolution Motorsport car last season, but he had a different car. It was a light blue car for season 1 before he fully joined the Sancho outfit for season 2. So,
oh, Siggy having to go defensive. Brzezinski is through, I think. He's going to have the inside now. Siggy just trying to hold the line as Jakub Brzezinski looks like he should be able to make it stick through the inside. And, well, we've seen Siggy's been just getting a little wide. He's still hanging on, though. Brzezinski forced to go a little wide. Look at Schoenfleth. Schoenfleht's just going to drive around the outside of them all. Isn't going to be able to work out. He should be able to through Brzezinski. And now that's going to put him on the defensive. And Siggy just drives away like nothing happened.
I just love what Siggy is showing us today. Like, kudos to him. Should be driver of the day in my eyes. In terms of defending and working with a car that's currently not up to pace with the Corvettes. Amazing to see what he can do here. They're coming down through Dunlop once again. Brzezinski now, he will get in trouble with Arne Schoenfleth and Jan van der Heide pushing from the back, that's for sure. So let's see if Kevin Siggy might get at least one lap out of this without constantly looking into his rearview mirror.
I just want to highlight something. Erhan Yuyovsky is down in 14th position. What happened? What happened there? He is down in 14th position. That is a disaster for him in points-wise in the championship. Hani Al-Sabti will be licking his lips. He may be teammates, but they downright won that championship, and that's going to put him right on the back of Yuyovsky. I don't know what happened, whether he was trying to make a move. As far as I know, he was on his own between Risto Capit and Siggy. There was nobody anywhere near him. He was the second adrift from Risto Capit, so that must be an unforced error.
Jonas Raivio, that was his move for third position. Around the outside of Dennis Jordan. Look at that. He was still on the rear quarter panel. Okay, Dennis Jordan tried to not close the door. That was good awareness of both drivers. We saw Jonas Raivio stepping back a bit. Dennis Jordan opening it up once again, and that started the second chance, basically, for I was so confused because I saw Erhan Yuyovsky being super slow in turn 1, losing another position down to 15th now. But obviously meant Jonas Raivio there on the previous one.
Yeah, Jonas Raivio still holding station. Kevin Siggy under pressure once again. Jakub Brzezinski stacking up behind him, looking to try and get further forward. But let's see whether it will work out. I don't know. I didn't see a drive-through for cuts for Yuyovsky. Maybe. I mean, he's down in 16th position right now, so that tells me there may be damage if he's losing position, because he was 14th a moment ago. I'm not too
Yeah, I
sure.
saw him dropping in turn 1, like he was really slow up the inside. Everyone bunched up again, so I'm not sure if something happened right in front of him, because I tried to watch the replay on the left, the fight on the right, and yeah, I can't do that even with 2 eyes.
I can only do so much. Yeah, I've got 2 screens up, and I'm trying to follow as much as I can. And still, it was during the Siggy battle. And speaking of the Siggy battle, Brzezinski once again hot on his heels in the Marla. Has been working so well so far. Brzezinski really carving his way through the field. And Michi Hoyer just a little adrift from this, watching it all happen ahead of him as Brzezinski once again lines up through the chicane. Kevin Siggy this time. Ooh, that looked like a cut from me on Siggy. I'm not too sure, but either way, leave that to the panel of judges to figure that one out. And this is going to be, well, he should be able to hold it. He's got himself a really nice move through the chicane, so Brzezinski won't be able to make a move here.
Yeah, we see Martin Dillon versus Yuri Kastorp. That's another Ferrari. Not
He's going to
saying
try
anything with it. Well, we got Brzezinski alongside Kevin Siggy right now. But it seems like Siggy will once again be able to hold on to 8th position there. Look at him fighting those Corvettes of every single lap.
I mean, I didn't think he really had enough. We just went late on the brakes, Brzezinski, and it's actually almost forced the move. But you can see Siggy will just shut the door on him. And again, it's brought Arne Schoenfeld right on Brzezinski's heels. I was surprised to see him go for that. It didn't look like he really had a chance to try and work it around the inside. Siggy always going to have the favor of the next corner. So a little surprising, maybe desperation. What was that mistake?
That was the mistake by Ajovski here. I mean, 16th down in the right, that was obviously his current position. So he lost the rear, accelerating out of turn 1. A bit too much wheel spinning, probably not bunched the traction control high enough, and then lost the rear. Off he goes and lost a lot of positions.
Well, one thing for him, obviously, Ajovski, we talked about at the start, he does always have that chance of writing one race off, and this is the lowest he's ever been, that's for sure. So almost certainly will be the race he writes off. Hunger getting the better of me. It's been a long day.
Another thing I want to highlight in this Nurburgring event today is that Yuri Kastorp, I said it, he found another Ferrari. We know what happened to the last Ferrari. And he's once again nudging it and touching it. I'm not sure if he wants to get that Ferrari and tries to get it for cheap if he's getting some dents in there. But the top 5 currently has 5 different teams. After we saw Romain Grosjean Esports really dominating the previous events, it's kind of good to see. It's like Romain Grosjean currently in lead, then Williams, then Sancho, then Evolution Motorsport, and then Waveframe Esports.
Brzezinski, Siggy goes defensive, went on the inside, and yeah, hold strong, make sure that BMW is reinforced, and he just shuts the door hard on Jakob Brzezinski. That was not even subtle this time around. Arne Schoenfeld, you saw actually trying to work his way around the outside as well, but because of how hard Siggy shut the door, they all got backed up there.
Once again, Kastorp was alongside Martin Dillon, but not enough yet to make that move. While Dennis Jordan is back in nearly attack range, I would say, to Jonas Raivio. He also has Lorenzo Risi behind him and Johnny Simoncic. So another 4 minutes to go. Everything can happen in the last 4 minutes in the GT Pro Series. We saw that in Season 1, we saw that in Season 2. We had last lap drama in nearly every second race, so I wouldn't call any of the positions just now, not even the one of Haniel Septi.
No, definitely not the 8th place of Kevin Siggy, because that's just non-stop under threat, unfortunately. But it's crazy because of all this happened, he's still retained 8th place. Ajovski passes him and off he goes. Do not pass Kevin Siggy right now, because it is a curse on your car, it seems. Jakob Brzezinski just running a little wide as he continues to try and keep the pressure on him. Kastorp, it's a bit risky going around the outside of the Ferrari there. I'm going to say he's got to run wide, so he won't be able to make it stick on Martin Dillon.
Yeah, he tried there. It was a nice move, but there isn't much space because he really
got to be through. He's got to be through.
Yeah,
that
looks like it.
Beautiful, beautiful drive through the chicane, and now Schoenfeld may even be able to squeeze on the back of him. He's going to be in the drag as he goes down. See whether Brzezinski can go defensive. It's going to be Siggy trying to get back past him, try and retake it. Look at Arne Schoenfeld behind him as well, looking to try and make the move work. This time Siggy won't be able to regain the position. The question is, will he lose another? Yes, he will. Schoenfeld sneaks on through.
Yeah, and then now opens up a chance for Jan van der Heide for the last minutes here in the Rd.4 race. Though it's still not called a day here for Kevin Siege, that's for sure. Daniel Sabdi now with a 2.5 second lead. That will work very well for him in front of Wisniewski, and then Raivio another 5 seconds off. So the top three basically on their own, even though Dennis Jordan could still catch Jonas Raivio, and Yuri Kastrup still working on Martin Durland, the John Alesi Esports Ferrari 488 GT3 right in front of him. Easy one to overtake. We saw that Yuri tried several times so far, inside, outside. None of that was enough yet to pass that Ferrari.
Seemingly not working out for him. You can see Martin Drillen and Yuri Kastrup on the back of him. Once again, trying to pass on by. Not going to happen. The Ferrari says no. We'll close the door. Hani Al-Sabti, though, the man in the lead, absolutely dominated since he got past Nikita Wisniewski. Got himself a 3-second gap built up nicely there. Nikita Wisniewski himself will be very happy. And Jonas Raivio in that Zancho up in 3rd place. Fantastic drive from him. It has been defensive work, unfortunately, for Kevin Siege down in 10th place. Looks like it's going to be where he finishes, with Nikita Wisniewski and Arne Schunflet still having a small battle with just a minute remaining.
Ernie Simincic now on the back of Lorenzo Risi as they come across the start-finish line. Down into turn 1, that would be the next chance here, but Risi already covering up the inside. So Simincic has to move to the outside very late on the braking, and instead it's Jordan who parks his Corvette up the inside.
Oh, Brzezinski spun by Schunflet. That's a disaster further down the field. Brzezinski down, down, down. Schunflet also tumbling down. That puts Jan van der Heide up into 9th place. Siggy back in 8th position. And Michi Hoyer up into the top 10.
Oh, Schunflet also having another contact here with Wojciech Polesny. Vargas Sim Racing Ferrari. Nearly ended in a spin there, but he saved the car on 16th now. So in front of Borja Milan.
It's put Erhan Yajowski back into 12th position. He's regaining so many points from these just last-minute errors. Brzezinski and Schunflet challenging each other on the final corner effectively there. It will be Hani Al-Sabti that will go through. Let's have a quick look at that.
Oh, it's just Arne being a bit late. Yeah, a bit late on the brakes, tapping the rear of Brzezinski. I think Schunflet was waiting, actually. Like, either to have a safe return on track or to let Brzezinski pass once again, because let's be honest here, Schunflet is a very fair driver, good driver to have in your lineup, and he will be very sad about his own move there.
Pressure on Lorenzo Arisi from Simincic. We saw it earlier on. There's the hard nudge in the back, just hard on the brakes effectively, and unfortunately for him, as you say, just on driver error. But oh, Simincic got in a little wiggly, having a look up the inside, diving up on Lorenzo Arisi. Should be able to make it work as they come across the line. It will be Hani Al-Sabti the winner, but a great steal from Yerny Simincic from Lorenzo Arisi, mugged on the last lap into 5th position. A great maneuver from the veteran. Meanwhile, further down, Risto Capit in 7th. The Siggy does finish in 8th place. Jan van der Heide and the Zancho in 9th. Great race for Zancho, 3rd and 9th place for them. And Michi Hoyer in 10th position.
Yuri Kastrup also did manage to pass Martin Durland, so he comes across the line as 20th. Shara 21st, Ferry Stanley, they're all crossing the line now. I have to say, that maneuver by Simincic was absolutely amazing, but I'm so happy that it doesn't destroy the highlight I had, which was 5 different teams in the top 5. We basically just replaced Waveframe Esports with Burst Esports. There's still 5 different teams. Happy about that.
Fantastic driving. I mean, Hani Al-Sabti is going to be delighted with this one. Obviously, he missed the race in Portland, so obviously he had to use his points effectively. But Hani Al-Sabti, what a win for him once again. Back-to-back, by the way, he won in Virginia as well, so really tearing up the table now, and that's going to cause a lot of pressure onto Erhan Yajowski, as I say. Obviously, still the points leader, but Simincic is going to be doing well as well. So 4th place there. This is the move. It was fantastic.
I'm not quite sure. Like, there was a gap. Yeah, I agree to that. Well, that's the DeLorean edition, by the way. There was a gap, that's for sure. and then he just put the Corvette in there and it was like, all right, I'll force it through now. At least no one got shunted off the track, so still fine, but that was
just a little bit of
racing.
contact. It's fine. You see it all the time. But yeah, I mean, there you can see there's the confirmation for you. Al-Sabti, Wisniewski and the Williams in second. Yunus Ravio on the podium in the Zancha. Great drive from him to get past Dennis Jordan, who obviously started the main race on the pole position, finishing in 4th place for Evolution Motorsports. Simičić in the burst does sneak on through. Lorenzo Risi, still his best finish, I believe, so far, in 6th place for the rookie, effectively, along with Michi Hoyer, of course, in that 10th position. Risto Capit in the Roman Grosjean. Great to see Roman Grosjean not locking out the front 4 this time around. Yayovsky does make up ground in the end after the spin, and that puts him up into 12th position after Jakub Brzezinski was shunted in the back by Arne Schunflet and the final corners.
Yeah, I wonder if race director is already on that. The move by Simičić. I'm not quite sure yet. From the one replay, I was like,
I'll leave that
I like the racing.
He's got it covered. We'll leave it to him.
I like that racing action, and I know that if you want to make a move, you have to take the risk. We always have the discussion in sim racing. Oh, everything should be clean. Like, first of all, real motorsport, it isn't always like that, because sometimes, especially on a very tight grid as it is here, you have to get the elbows out a bit, right, to make a move. And we all remember the good times of touring car racing, right? So the closer everyone is, the more you need to use your elbows to make a move. So since I didn't saw that from the top, nor what else happened, I'm not quite sure yet if that will be considered fair or not. I would call that, just like Aiden did in the chat, a touring car move. So we'll see what race control says about it. But I love that he tried, gave us good action there on the last corner, and once again showed that the GT Pro Series can provide great racing action in every single lap.
Yeah, fantastic. And it really is going to open the championship right up now, with Al-Sabti getting back-to-back main race wins. Fantastic performance from him to work back into that front position, because you know what? He thought he had it. He thought he'd taken Dennis Jordan. He'd done the work effectively. Then obviously a small bit of contact put Nikodem Wisniewski to sneak on through into that first position. But congrats to Al-Sabti to regain it and hold steady, especially when the sprint race didn't really go well for him. He kind of struggled to gain ground in the sprint race. So great to see Hani Al-Sabti back in with a chance at the championship.
Yeah, it's still open after 4 rounds. So round 5, that will see Indianapolis return. That's a track we had in Season 1 as well. That's on the 7th of December, and that is actually a very, very busy time, because on the 5th of December, there should be the BMW Sim Live event featuring rFactor 2 and iRacing. On the 4th of December, there's the Spa Francorchamps 3-hour race by Studio 397. So you can still sign up for that. You can still qualify for the support races in Titus and Porsche Cup. These are, as I said, hot lap qualifiers, while the 3-hour race is a sign-up. So just head over to the rFactor 2 webpage and find the sign-up button there. Sign up your team if you want to take part. And then if you think, oh, that's all far away, 4th December, 5th December, 7th December, there is the GT Challenge Series powered by VCO right next Monday. Same sports. You can see it on the race YouTube. You can see it on the rFactor 2 Twitch. You can see it on VCO, Facebook, and Twitter. So we've got the full coverage provided by Aidan Millward and Lewis McGlade. So don't miss out on that. That's the feeder series. Lots of action there. Same track, obviously. And now you have it on your screen. The Spa 3-hour Invitational by rFactor 2 and WTF1. There will be some big names and teams on the grid. So even if you don't want to sign up, or you didn't manage to get into the event, make sure that you watch it. It will be broadcasted live on our channels and on the WTF1 channels. There will be a ton of action for the people out there that like to watch rFactor 2 content in general. I'm pretty sure it's Aiden Millward driving. I'm not sure. But Erman Hamidovic and William from Sim Racing Paddock, I think they all signed up. So if they get a starting spot, there are probably millions and millions and millions of streams to watch that race. But for now, that should be it. Lee, thanks for joining me once again for the rFactor 2 GT Pro Series powered by VCO Esports. And then we see each other on the 7th of December or next week for the GT Challenge. Goodbye.